Right, what I want to do in this video is show you how you integrate VoiceFlow with Shopify using make.com. If this is of interest to you, I do 2 free tutorials, whatever you want to call them. Just look in the description. There's one for an agency, so if you're an agency wanting to sell VoiceFlow services, or if you're someone that wants to do them themselves, just check in the description and in the comments, and both of my little courses are in there for you. They're free to sign up. So in this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just show you how you integrate VoiceFlow with, like I said, with Shopify. So we just start off there. We just have to do a message. Connect this to the start. And we are going to, there's a lot of stuff you can do. So in this, I'm just going to do the order ID. But you can do stuff like, say they don't have their order ID, you would then ask, what is your email? You'd then fire their email to the Shopify, and it will return the order ID. We then do capture. And this is basically going to capture the response. And what we're going to do is we're going to capture an entity in the response, okay? And an entity is basically like a variable, really, that is in the response that we're then going to use. We're going to save it really to a variable. So what I've already done, I've actually already created the order ID variable. Actually, I'll get rid of that, and because I have been. So what you just do is you do create entity, and you would then just do order ID there, and you would then create it, and you do as a number. But let's just have a look. We would do email, name, age. You can scroll down here. There's loads of them in there. And what that will do is that will search through the reply, and it will find, it will pick it out. So say you do email, it's going to pick out the email address within there, and it will then save it. So if we actually look, let's just run this quickly. See down the left-hand side, last response is the last response by the agent. Last utterance is the whole of the last reply. This is platform, this is web chat, but we now have order ID in there. So you can see in there, so what is your order ID? Let's just do run test. And I want you to look at what is your order ID. Last utterance hasn't actually updated the order ID, but it is now saved in there. Okay, so you can see how everything came through there. We've got last response, what is your order ID? That was the last response by the chatbot. We've got last utterance. Last utterance is the whole lot, but it has saved it there. It just isn't showing that. I can tell you that it is actually there. Right, so we're now going to need to send this to make.com, and make.com will send it to Shopify, and will handle basically the flow between VoiceFlow and Shopify. So we don't want a get response, we want a post. I'll just show you the things here. Headers of, we're predominantly going to work with the body data, okay? So it's basically a schema, and we are going to send details through parameters. We don't really need all these. All we're going to do is body and capture response. We would then have failure path. But we're going to really just look at the body. And the body here is going to be the order ID. So we just type in like that. That is now the order ID. So that is going to look at the form data. It's going to take the data from there, and it will store it in the order ID. So let's now go over to make.com, and we are going to put a webhook in there. Be careful here, because you've got mail hook at the top. This is not a mail hook. We need a custom webhook, and we're going to choose, we'll just do Shopify. You can just add one, look, call it whatever you want. I just call it VoiceFlow Shopify. Copy address to clipboard, we click on that. And that is basically the Webflow address there. We now come back to VoiceFlow. And in the post URL, we are going to paste the webhook Okay. So now that has the webhook there. We'll put a value in here. So let's just do test your agent. What is your order? Okay, I want this running as well. So we've got this, and I'm going to want this, run this module only. This is now waiting for details to come over. Chat has ended. It didn't send it. I haven't got a clue why it has not sent. Oh, it did then. Right. So it did when I clicked on the actual, see that there, it actually sent over. I don't know why it wasn't sending over. But anyway, you can now see bundle number 1, and it's received the numbers 1 to 8, right? So that has now got that in there, okay? And that is fine. We have that all initialized. Right, so now we can put Shopify in here. This is really good. Like, you really, really want to like go and play around with this. There is so much that you can do with this. Like, look, you can create an order. So you could have it there. You could have something like, oh, you know, what would you like to buy? And then it will then create the order for you. You can update orders. You can delete an order. You can close an order, reopen, cancel, whatever. For this, we're just going to do get an order. So it will get the order response from it, right? When we click on this again, and it's now got the field order ID, which we match with the order ID that has been sent over. Can you see how we've done that? We now just do save, and we're going to want to return the details. So we do webhook, and we do webhook response, and we bring the response up here. Now the response is going to go to here as capture response. So whatever we send here will get sent, and a 200 status is when you make a request to an API and it's successful. So if it now sits there and says, if a 200 response comes through, it will create the body. So we now have all of these that we can work with. So we could sit there and say, I want we can basically, I'm trying to find, so actually, yeah, we can just do search at the top. So we can send over the tracking number and the tracking URL. So that will send that over in a object, right? And that will then come here, new object, save to variable, so we can go and create a variable. And it's now got that. Do you kind of see what I mean? Oh, that has to be an object. So as it goes across, it will then go through this. We're not going to get it. It won't work because I don't have the Shopify details on here. So that isn't an order, whatever. So it's not going to go through. But that, so it's all locked up because I don't actually have it all on there. But this is the basic way on how you integrate them. If you had an order there, it would then go through. That isn't a legitimate order with the actual Shopify connection, but you can kind of see how all of those pieces now get put back together again and how you do it. But because I don't have a legit account, bang, it's not worked. If you do have a legit account, that is how you do it. But what you really want to do, man, is just play around with this. You can do so much more than what we're doing here. Like, I mean, like if you're making out a bot for yourself or like for someone else, you can sit there and do, create an order. You can, get a custom collection. Like, you can just scroll through these and there is so much that you can actually do in here. It's a really powerful little integration, and it's something you can have like quite a good little bit of fun with playing around. And all you do is you create variables over here, which is basically a variable which is going to hold down there, and you then send it to them and it will then return in the path like I just showed you. Okay, I hope that's helped. As I said, if you could give us a follow, and if you're interested in doing more of this, there are 2 courses in the description. Thank you very much.